Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. I'm Shamela Pullen. Here's what we have in the bulletin.
Education Minister confirms phased school reopening starting September 1. Dr. Christopher Tufton stands by rally audio as JLP remains silent amid KD Knight lawsuit. And later in sports, Olympic silver medalist Keshane Thompson and five-time world champion Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price among a host of Jamaicans to compete in Hungary today.
Now the details. Education Minister Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon has clarified that the new school year will begin with a phased reopening starting Monday, September 1. Full classes are set to resume on September 8. Nakinski Robinson reports.
Education Minister Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon has clarified the official start dates for the new academic year, outlining a phased reopening process that begins on Monday, September 1, 2025. On that day, schools will open for orientation and other administrative activities. Concerns arose on Monday when the Education Minister mentioned that the date would not be changed following the announcement of the general election for Wednesday, September 3.
As is customary, the first week of school usually sees a staggered opening where we have a lot of orientation exercises and other administrative activities taking place. On September 1, schools are authorized to open for these administrative exercises and also for orientation. Schools will be closed on September 2 and 3 to facilitate the Electoral Office of Jamaica preparing the schools and using them as polling sites. For the remainder of the week, schools have flexibility built in.
Dr. Morris-Dixon said the approach allows schools to smoothly manage the start of the term and address operational needs. The schedule has the backing of some key education stakeholders, including the National Parent-Teacher Association of Jamaica, NPTAJ, and the Jamaica Independent Schools Association, JISA.
Independent schools are fully aligned with the Ministry's decision to keep the start of the academic year on schedule. Our priority is to ensure continuity in teaching and learning, and this arrangement allows us to do so without having to adjust the end-of-year timelines.
Parents across Jamaica welcome this decision. We understand the importance of our children returning to school on time, and we appreciate the Ministry's effort to safeguard the academic calendar. This approach strikes the right balance between supporting our country's democratic process and prioritizing our children's education.
Nakinski Robinson, TVJ News.
Retired legislator KD Knight is suing Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton and the Jamaica Labour Party for defamation over an allegedly manipulated audio played at a rally which he claims misrepresented his stance on PNP leader Mark Golding. Mr. Knight says the clip was doctored to damage his reputation, but Dr. Tufton is standing by it. O'Shane Masters reports.
Former Senator KD Knight is threatening to take Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton and the Jamaica Labour Party to court, accusing them of defaming him with a doctored audio recording played at Sunday's JLP mass rally in Half-a-Tree, St. Andrew. Mr. Knight says the clip was manipulated to falsely suggest he has no confidence in People's National Party President Mark Golding's ability to lead Jamaica. Now, he insists the words were fabricated to mislead the public and damage his reputation.
I have never, ever, neither publicly nor privately, made any comment that Mark Golding is unsuitable to be the Prime Minister of Jamaica, because that is not my belief. My fervent belief is that he will make an excellent Prime Minister, one who is honest, reliable, one who, when he makes a declaration to any public body as to his assets and liabilities, will be accurate.
He says his attorneys have been instructed to move immediately against those responsible for producing and distributing the recording.
Dr. Tufton, you will hear from my lawyers. because you have defamed me.
I've always known KD Knight to be a man who expresses himself and has no fear or favor in expressing himself. I am disappointed that on this occasion he's attempting to change what he has said on record.
In the meantime, Dr. Tufton says he's not intimidated by the threats of legal action by KD Knight.
I've made a comment based on the evidence that is available in the public domain. The facts are that KD Knight has attempted to discredit, based on his conviction and how it was expressed, the leader of the PNP, Mark Golding. He did so in a particular context. Yes, I agree, but the facts remain. He can now not try to disassociate himself from those comments that he have made, including comments about fundraising and the unethical approach to fundraising by the Golding team when they were involved in a campaign. So I stand by that position.
O'Shane Masters, TVJ News.
Opposition spokesman on energy Philip Paulwell says high electricity costs is hindering investment and economic development. He made the assertion in an address to business interests. Kirk Wright reports.
Opposition spokesman on energy Philip Paulwell says there's growing unease within the business sector. According to Mr. Paulwell, many potential investors are being discouraged from pursuing opportunities in the economic zone. He was speaking during a presentation at the Planning Institute of Jamaica PIOJ office on Monday.
Solar in particular, to affect that matrix, we believe that there has to be greater democratization of electricity. We have to, as it were, give power to the people. We discuss the scope of a future JPS license and why we have always embraced the notion that it has to be substantially changed and that we are prepared not to wait until 2027, but from day one to engage in those negotiations to effect those meaningful changes.
He's calling for urgent government intervention.
We haven't seen a lot of take-up by investors because of the high cost of electric energy. We want to democratize that and to enable those operators in special economic zones to have the ability to generate and to distribute electricity within the zone, and also to be able to wheel electricity from one location to another. That will encourage more investors in this area. The price of electricity will fall for them, and we believe that that shouldn't have to wait until 2027, but to be implemented now.
Mr. Paulwell says there's need for a strategy to reduce electricity costs in order to improve Jamaica's competitiveness. He says if the PNP is elected to government, this will be one of their main priorities.
We have to get the price of electricity down from 40 cents to below 20 cents, and that is from day one. The first, I think, area that we'll have to tackle must be the amount of theft that takes place now that contributes 20% to the price of electricity. From day one, we have to do that. We have to bring on board a lot more renewables because the price is far more inexpensive, cheaper than fossil fuel, and we also have to ensure that those persons who wish to wheel electricity from one location to another, they are able to do so.
Kirk Wright, TVJ News.
Member of Parliament for St. James North Western, Dr. Horace Strang, has commended residents of Norwood for their continued efforts in maintaining peace in the community. Speaking at a land titling ceremony in the area on Monday, Dr. Chang says while there have been some recent issues, they've been able to address them. He expressed optimism that the community will continue the current downward trend in the murder rate.
Last year we celebrated 2 years without a single murder in Norwood. And you have police officers here. The commander is Mr. Superintendent, Mr. Aaron Samuels. He's a strong but professional police officer. I have not heard of any serious complaints about any police abuse or arrogance to this law-abiding citizens of Norwood in many neighborhoods. I understand they operate with good community relations, and we have not had any homicide murders for a long time.
The police are appealing to 39-year-old mechanic Al-Jamar Brown of Clarendon Gardens, Maypen, to turn himself in immediately. Brown is wanted for questioning in connection with a number of murders and shootings in Clarendon and other parishes. He is being urged to report to the Maypen police station without delay. The police are reminding anyone with information on his whereabouts to contact the Maypen police, the nearest police station, or call Crime Stop at 311. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness is again warning criminals that the police, through various strategies, will pursue them and take them to justice. He was speaking recently in Gregory Park, St. Catherine. Communities like Gregory Park in St. Catherine continue to be plagued by crime and violence. The police in recent times have been able to get things under control. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness reminded residents of the police's zero tolerance for criminal behavior.
Don't tell me that your community is violent and there is crime there because the youths don't have any work. Don't tell me that the community is violent because there is no infrastructure. Don't tell me that the community is violent because the youth them hungry.
The Prime Minister also rejected suggestions linking poverty and unemployment to violence. Most jobless Jamaicans, he noted, choose peace over crime.
What happened to those people who say, if I don't have it, I'm not going to steal it from anyone else. I'm not going to kill anyone else. Why should we make an exception for you who decide to go and burn down the people in them house and kill the people and destroy the stock of the same people in the same community who do them little hustling? Because one of the young ladies, I'll never forget it, she asked me to buy back her stock that the criminals had destroyed. Because that was what she did as her little hustling.
He further urged residents to stand up against and reject wrongdoers.
They are preventing us from enjoying peace. Think about it. And I'm looking at the faces and some people saying, am I call bad egg? Am I a bad egg? Well, the point of fact is, you have to ask yourself that question. Are you contributing to the peace or are you destroying the peace?
Welcome back to the Midday News. It's now time for the Business Minute.
Gaming and lottery giant Supreme Ventures Limited is cashing in on cost cuts and product innovation, delivering a 63% jump in profit for the June quarter. Executive Chairman Gary Peart says a company-wide focus on efficiency, including a redundancy program now underway, is already paying off with lower costs and stronger revenues. Second quarter net profit climbed to $776 million, up from $475 million a year ago, boosted by a $1.16 billion rise in gross revenues to nearly $14 billion. For the first half of the year, SVL posted $1.29 billion in profit, up just 4% year on year. But the company says after adjusting for one-off items, underlying performance was actually 30% stronger. Further afield, the US and China are pushing back today's self-imposed deadline for reaching a trade deal. They say current tariff amounts can remain in place another 90 days as negotiations continue. An executive order President Donald Trump issued last night keeps the US rate for Chinese imports at 30%. That's opposed to letting it rise to 54% as specified in a previous order. China confirms its duties on US imports will stay at 10% instead of climbing to 34%. For the Business Minute, I'm Shane Masters.
Thank you, Shane. Time now for the top regional and international stories.
Guyana is the only CARICOM nation added to the UK's expanded Deport Now, Appeal Later scheme, which will see foreign offenders removed before appealing their cases. The update adds 15 countries, including Canada, India, and Australia, bringing the total to 23. Home Secretary Yvette Cooper says the move will curb abuse of the appeals process and ease prison overcrowding. Foreign Secretary David Lammy, whose parents are Guyanese, welcomed the expansion and signaled more countries could be included. The Guyana government has welcomed Venezuela's filing of its rejoinder to the International Court of Justice in the ongoing border dispute over the oil-rich Essequibo region. Guyana's foreign ministry said the submission, filed within the ICJ's deadline, responds to Guyana's December 2024 reply and marks the final written stage of the case. Filed by Guyana in 2018, the matter seeks a ruling on the validity of the 1899 arbitral award that sets the boundary between the two nations. The ICJ, which has already confirmed the jurisdiction, will next set oral hearings before delivering a binding judgment. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese says his country will recognize a Palestinian state in September, joining a growing number of Western allies critical of Israel's actions in Gaza. The formal announcement will be made at the UN General Assembly based on commitments from the Palestinian Authority. New Zealand is also weighing recognition, with a decision expected at a September cabinet meeting. The moves further isolate the United States from close allies backing Israel amid its nearly 2-year military campaign in Gaza. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio last weekend dismissed such recognitions as largely symbolic, saying they embolden Hamas and hinder peace efforts. And those were the top regional and international stories. I'm Raquel Porto.
Thank you, Raquel. We take another break. Sports is next.